Okay, so while recording, this is going to be recorded actually in a series of videos, so I apologize for the abrupt ending to part one. Here's part two. Again, going over it, the ground ladders, 24 or 20-foot extension, so it kind of depends on the agency, but you'll usually have an extension, you'll have a straight ladder, 16, 20 feet. Again, it's agency specific, and then we have an attic ladder, which is a folding ladder that we use to get into the attic space. A variety of nozzles, both 1.75 and 2.5 inch nozzles that go on our 1.75 hose and our 2.5 inch hose. If you have smaller hose like the booster lines, you'll have a nozzle that's equipped for that. Nozzles can be both fog nozzles and straight tip. A fog nozzle means that the tip on it can be adjusted, it can be turned, and that's going to adjust the pattern of your stream to where it goes from straight to like a V pattern, which is considered a fog. And the straight tip nozzles, that's usually going to be just essentially a stacked piece of metal, and the diameter of the metal is going to determine the size of the stream. Right? Hose adapters and appliances. Again, appliances are anything that water flows through. We'll cover those later in the chapter. And then all of our apparatus have self-contained breathing apparatus for each of the personnel assigned. And for us, we have our own face piece, our own mask, which is called the face piece, and regulator that hooks into the bottle. So there's a universal fitting there for each individual to have their own. Other hose tools on there, some portable fire extinguishers. The NFPA is going to require a complement of fire extinguishers, which we have on there. Pike poles. Pike poles are essentially a long pole. It's got a hook on the end, and we usually use those to pull ceiling, kind of going to a different hook, but essentially it's still a variation of the pike pole. Salvage covers, large tarps that we use. What we'll do there is we'll gather belongings. We'll put a salvage cover over those, so as we're doing overhaul, the drywall that comes down or excess water is not going to get onto people's belongings and destroy them. And then all of our apparatus in my city, we have emergency medical equipment. You'll see that most commonly in departments in the LA and Orange County, San Bernardino, San Diego County area. The firefighters are all going to be trained to at least the EMT level, so you'll have EMT level equipment on there. If you have paramedic engines or apparatus with paramedics on it, usually you'll have an additional complement of paramedic level equipment for medicals. Some specialized equipment, rescue and extrication tools, power saws. Our engines are typically going to carry rotary saws for forcible entry. Some of our engines have ventilation fans that are electric ventilation fans, not gas fans. But ventilation fans become both electric and gas. And then we don't have portable water tanks for water shuttles. What we'll do if we water shuttle is one engine will go, we'll fill up its tank, it'll connect a line from that engine to another engine, and then basically what we'll do is dump the tank, is what we call it, where we'll transfer water from one engine to the other. We don't have the portable tanks. Some smaller apparatus. This is there's type 1, which is the ones you see in most cities. Type 3 look very similar to this, but they're a little more rugged and built more for off-road. This is more of what we call a type 6 engine. So the type 3 and type 6 are going to use for smaller incidents or more confined spaces. Very good in the rural environment, the wildland environment. You can have initial attack with these. One of the newer concepts that we're seeing are called rapid response vehicles or fast response vehicles. And it'll be these smaller apparatus with 2 personnel assigned, and they'll initially respond and then kind of get the incident going. So these can reduce costs, right? If you have 2 people on them versus 4, the reduced cost is the amount that it takes to fund that for personnel costs. Fuel costs are less, obviously, and then the wear on the larger and more expensive apparatuses, if they're not traveling as much, then the wear and tear and the cost to maintain those is a little less as well. Some of the other names: a mini pumper, midi pumper, quick attack apparatus. So quick attack, fast response, rapid response, fast attack vehicle, kind of agency specific on those, and then rapid intervention vehicles. So these three here, they kind of fall into that category. Quick attack apparatus, so may operate with a crew of 2 to 5. In city, if we have a type 6 apparatus as a fast response vehicle, we will have 2. If we send a type 6 engine to the wildland, we'll have 3 on there. Type 3 will usually send 4 personnel. We don't often deploy our type 3 in city, but can be used if we have brush fires and they're significant. Freeway type brush fires is what we're kind of limited to. The type 3 can deploy first. And these are usually built on a pickup truck chassis, and then they have a custom body. They've got a smaller pump of about 200 gallons with a capacity of 250 GPM. So you can see if you pump in 250 GPM and you have a 200-gallon tank, you have less than 1 minute of water to utilize before you need water in there. Carry similar equipment if the bail is open and you're free flowing the water at 250 gallons per minute. Carry similar equipment is larger, but there's not enough space, so the cache of equipment is scaled down. Again, all of our apparatus are going to carry emergency medical equipment because of the level of training. And then you could have a master stream appliance. To position a master stream appliance is basically it's essentially a delivery of a larger volume of water. All right. Apparatus that have our foam systems, they have a centrifugal pump that supplies water, so they have a separate tank from foam. They have a dial that is a foam proportioner, so you'll essentially dial up what you need. So it will take the appropriate amount of foam out of that tank. It will inject it in with the water, and then you'll get foam coming out of the nozzle. So there's compressed air that's added before the foam solution is discharged from the apparatus. Good hydrant to apparatus connections are key because that constant water supply. So you want that hydrant to apparatus connection to make sure that you're getting a proper mixture. And then these are usually dedicated to flowing foam through pre-selected discharges. So it'll be we'll call it's pre-pumped for foam, right? So meaning the foam is going to come in, it's going to come in, and then the discharge gate, which is the lever that you pull, that's going to be noted that it's pre-plumbed for foam. Mobile water supply apparatus are also known as a water tender, or also called a water tender. What you see here, this picture to the right, these snap tanks or portable tanks, sometimes you'll hear them, it's like pumpkins. There's a ton of different names from them. You'll see these in the wildland environment where they'll fill those up, and other apparatus can come. They can draft water out of there and fill up their tanks. So water tenders can also fill up a tank for you. They can come up next to the engine, hook up, and give you water, and their job during the incidents are to basically just act as a water shuttle. They also keep some of the roads that we use in the wildland environment wet down to prevent some of the dust. Don't want to wet them down too much and create a bunch of mud. All right. So these are very useful where there's inadequate water supply. In the wildland environment, we often get inadequate water supply. So these will have onboard tanks of at least 1,000 gallons. And again, they use to supplement smaller tanks found on many pumpers or fill up portable tanks, which are what you see. The size of water tank on a water tender or mobile water supply apparatus, it's going to depend on different factors. What's the terrain? What are the road limits, height and weight? So if you have to go over bridges and there's a weight limit, the apparatus may not be able to, the weight limit of the bridge may not be able to support those apparatus. So again, kind of got to be mindful of those things. Monetary constraints, they are expensive, and then the size of other mobile water supply apparatus that are in the area. Safety and efficiency recommendations. Apparatus should meet the 1901 NFPA recommendations. So limit single rear axle apparatus to water tanks of 1,500 gallons or less. If greater capacity is desired, you need a dual rear axle apparatus vehicle or tractor trailer. Right? And then a straight chassis vehicle, those can have tank capacities of up to 4,000 gallons. Tank baffles. Water tanks for mobile water supply apparatus should have an adequate number of properly installed baffles. So these will lessen the effect of water shifting in the tank as the apparatus makes turns or transverse steep grades. Improper installation or absence of baffles has led to numerous injuries and deaths due to rollovers. So that's again a safety feature that has been added to these water tenders. Some wildland fire apparatus. They're lightweight, highly maneuverable apparatus. Like I said, this is like a Type 6 apparatus. They're used in that rugged off-road terrain. NFPA 1906 is going to give you the design and manufacture recommendations. So these will be built on a utility vehicle body and feature all-wheel drive. So they're four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And the tanks are typically 50 to 1,000 gallons. Usually you're going to be on the smaller end for the tanks here. Often equipped with a pump and roll. That means the pump can continue as you're driving. All right. So you'll learn some of that as you do some wildland training. And then some include a traditional power takeoff pump. And that means that the apparatus has to stay stationary. It can't drive. Pump and roll, you can drive and pump water at the same time. Your power takeoffs, those traditional power takeoffs, means that the rig needs to be stationary as you're pumping because you actually shift it out of drive and into pump, right? May carry a portable fire pump that can be removed from the apparatus and deployed using a static water source, a pool, a lake, a stream, something like that, where that water source is not moving, even though water flows through a lake or a stream potentially, but that would be considered a static water source, a reservoir, something like that. They may have pre-piped ground sweep nozzles to protect from hot spots, meaning that like on the front, you can control it from the cab, or has a nozzle, you can discharge water out of it and sweep it, meaning moving it side to side to spray if you find a hot spot. May carry non-collapsible hose reels or 1.5-inch diameter single jacketed forestry hose. So when you go into the wildland environment, you're going to be using a smaller diameter hose. Our hose that we carry on our structure fire apparatus is going to be double jacketed. So you'll have a single jacket forestry hose and then adjustable flow nozzles. Okay. Some of the common hand tools you'll see: rakes, shovels, axes, Pulaskis, McLeods, and then backpack water tanks where you can put water in a backpack, and you can go out, you can walk the fire line and spray some water in areas that need it. Our aerial apparatus, there are several different types. You have an aerial ladder, elevating platform. The platform here is your bucket, and a water tower, which is a pre-plumbed water supply, and a nozzle on the truck itself. These are going to be equipped with powered aerial device that provides access to upper floors and roofs. Typically, you're looking at 75 to 110 feet. They'll support firefighting and rescue by positioning personnel, providing egress, typically to upper floors, and then in the defensive fire attack, you can spray water from an elevated position, and you can spray a larger volume of water than you can with one of the 1.75-inch hand lines. Aerial ladder apparatus, powered ladder, usually hydraulic, on a fire apparatus chassis. The working height is measured from the ground to the highest rung. These are rungs, these pieces that go across, the beams go down the side. So that's going to be your working height, generally 50 to 135 feet. But models manufactured in other countries may exceed these heights. The main use: rescue, ventilation, elevated master stream, and then gaining access. These have a hydraulic pump and motor, and that is going to lift, maneuver, and extend the ladder to the desired location. Electrical or mechanical backup systems may